Hi, listeners. Today's episode may include discussion of violence, gore, uh, yeah, death, suicide. So, if those things bother you, this is an episode you might want to skip. Go on to one of our previous episodes and re-listen if you would, please. Well, hello and welcome. I'm Sue Britz,
And I'm Tina Lokkbakk. Welcome to Retired.
the podcast where we talk about what life is like when we put on new tread, new wheels that move us to our next adventure. And boy, do we have an adventure for you today. I mean, imagine yourself in a world where you have to survive. I like these sound effects. We're not even having to go look for them or pay for them or anything. It's just, Yeah. So, our topic today, Tina?
Zombies as a metaphor.
All right. So, now before we get into the zombie question, let's just clarify because we are teachers, or I should say, retired teachers.
Thank you. Yes.
And let's define what a metaphor is, if you would please.
Oh, God. It is when you take something that is very different to explain the thing you're trying to explain.
That was clear.
So, for instance, if you say she is like a beautiful rose,
That's a
you're
simile.
comparing because of the as. So she is a beautiful rose.
There we go. That's the difference.
Would be the metaphor.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's describing one thing as something else, and that's a metaphor. And I talk about whether when in deciding this conversation, I thought, should we talk about zombies and their symbolism or zombies as a metaphor? And they kind of almost overlap, and so they'll work both ways. Tina, what do you think? What is the metaphor then? Why are what do zombies? What are they? If it's a metaphor, what are they?
So this is interesting. I did my little bit of research that I told you I would do on zombies.
Okay, hold up. Why did you have to do research? Do you not watch zombies?
Well, I did. What was it before? Back in it was right when I was going through divorce. So 2010, there was another really popular zombie show I watched with my girls.
The Walking Dead?
That. And so then you told me this one, which is The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to find out what this is. Like, how is it different? And so by watching in the trailer and reading about it, it almost did pique my curiosity. I might just have to watch it. But this is what I came up with. Here is my metaphor. Life every day presents challenges, and they are relentless, just like a zombie. That is what I came up with.
Okay, so you're talking about the challenges of every day attacking us and
yes, problems,
endangering us and so
yes.
forth. Okay. Yes, and that is definitely one I would say. For me, it's more like the breakdown of society. So, it's either too much consumerism because, people are brainless, they're aggressive, they're just consuming everything and not participating in their in anything outside it. But mostly, I think it goes towards things, the breakdown in societies that are related to violence. So like we have got all kinds of senseless violence. We've got people bombing Palm Springs and I mean wars going on, of course, and just domestic terrorism, etc. But racism too. If you think about the violence done towards people, even this other, even if it's just a negative comment, that is a type of violence, let alone the actual physical violence. So all this breakdown in society could definitely be our metaphor. But the metaphor that really speaks to my heart
Oh, yeah. Or eats it up. Yeah.
yeah, that would be eating up the brain, is
Oh,
the
true.
apocalyptic thing, that the survival and rebuilding of society.
Ooh.
So like there's some kind of pandemic or some kind of something that causes this breakdown in society to happen, this apocalypse where now we have to literally survive, not just like what you're describing,
Yeah.
the survival of every day of massive problems that don't make sense, the tornadoes that are killing people and the violence and all the other things, there's the problems in our jobs and but the pandemic now really relates because we've been through one and had the thinking about how do you survive in a zombie apocalypse would be pretty amazing. So, I don't know. That's the metaphor for me.
I as I said, I watched The Walking Dead for quite a while, but I had to stop, Sue, and I think it's interesting that you see it as fascinating, and I just got exhausted. I'm like, I'm showing up for this hour, and I can feel the experience. I'm in the experience. You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
couldn't just watch it from afar. I was in that apocalypse, and I got tired because I just thought, at what point do you, like, wanna just give up? It just keeps coming, and it's, like, worse than, like, your irrigation system breaking and now all your plants are dying. It's the fight to live each day, and it was just too exhausting to live that experience, even if it was on TV, and maybe it's because that was my time going through divorce, my parents dying, my kids and all of that, and, maybe it was just in combination with that, it was too much. It was just too much because I felt like I was living in an apocalypse at that time.
Yeah. Well, the fight to live every day, and I think that what can be exhausting is like the hopelessness that comes from that.
Yes.
And that's why this metaphor really holds up because so many people, I think, are feeling that hopelessness. Maybe there's addiction issues in the family, and how do you break that cycle? When you've come back from an operation and they medicate you, and now you're addicted to this pain medication.
Oh
And how do you get
god,
off
yeah.
that? Going back to racism, how do you deal with that on a daily basis? It doesn't feel hopeful. And so I think these are the themes that people really do kind of grab onto. And like you say, I mean, um, how many seasons has The Walking Dead been going on? We're on season 10 at the curb. We do zombies at the curb. We've done this since COVID, since the pandemic, which was
I
kind
think
of,
that's beautiful. It's a
yeah,
it's a beautiful thing,
we've
and,
got neighbors together and they bring their chairs and snacks and I set up a big screen in the front of the house and with a sound
it's
system so you can
beautiful.
hear it. And we've started off watching like some zombie and sci-fi and then zombie films. We watched like the Dawn of the Dead, Shaun of the Dead, Train to Busan, Night of the Living Dead. We did those things and I think we did World War Z and a lot of the others. But then we said, okay, let's get going on The Walking Dead, which some of us had seen, some of us had not, and we're in season 10 right now. We haven't stopped since the
Wow.
pandemic. We just had one last night, in fact, and we keep going. And then I told them, well, there's some spin-offs, so we can do some of the spin-offs, or maybe we are going to watch next the Last of Us. That would be a good one because some of us have watched it and others have not. There's all kinds of options with all the beautiful zombie films that are out there, or
I
zombie
think that's
media.
really cute that you've taken such a dark thing, but it's become a lovely neighborhood bonding. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, and it's funny because people come by, in the neighborhood, they're out walking their dogs or they're, riding their bikes by, and over the years, people have now go, "Oh, hi," and, we chat and, invite people to come. No one wants to come because 'cause they're kinda
Oh,
like
really?
well, it's kinda like you're in the middle of we're in season
Yeah.
8, or, so
Yeah.
but, it's a way that beyond even our group, the other elements of our neighborhood who there've been new people walking by and they go, "What's going on? Oh, this is a great idea." And, it's been a great thing for our community, which would be amazing if there were a zombie apocalypse. Then we have contacts with people. We can stand together. It would be a good thing.
And you've learned a lot of different skills and
Well, we've
strategies
talked
through all
about
this
that.
watching. Like,
Absolutely.
man.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's real life. Yeah.
Another part of the zombie that I have actually used a lot in my writing, my journaling, is the living through life like a zombie, in that, not
Oh,
that you're out to kill anyone. It's just that you just get up, your body moves in the direction it moves.
yeah.
Obstacles are in the way. You just keep pushing through it like a bulldozer, and you don't look at what's around you. You aren't feeling anything. You're just existing.
Yeah.
And that's another way of using zombies, because really they're soulless. There's no emotion, there's no humanity to them. It's truly just this machine in fleshy form as opposed to a robot. And I think that's another curse. Maybe that's why zombies have come back so much in full force, because I think much of at least our first world living is zombie like. What are your thoughts on that, Sue?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm almost like the metaphor becomes the survival of a zombie apocalypse, which is different than, like you're saying, the zombie themselves. So the zombie themselves, I wouldn't even compare it to machine, because they are just the husk, the shell of humanity. And like that's even sadder than a robot. I mean,
God, that's, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I get you. And that's what people relate to that. You feel like you're just going through the motions, and you're not even connected to your body. You don't even feeling the pain, and understanding the exhaustion that you feel going through life like that. Absolutely.
I have a thought. Let's start with the television. I wonder if the television is the beginning of our zombiness in humanity, because it is the way that we have learned to shut down and numb ourselves, that's acceptable universally. Again, it goes back to being in jobs and lives and situations that bring no joy. It's the survival, like the zombie. But I wonder if the television exacerbated it. Now, Instagram and Facebook and all those things are just another form of television, where it's just this place where it's a time sink. You're not coming out of it stronger, better, happier, learning, unless of course you're a documentary fan, but you can even use a documentary to numb out. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, absolutely. People have been talking about that since the advent of radio and television, and then these technologies that have spun off from it. It's a way to distract ourselves,
Yeah.
and you do get some learning and some entertainment. Learning and entertainment are appropriate. But see, we have this luxury of not having to just survive like before the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
And, having, when you go out and you have to work that farm or go to that,
No matter what.
yeah, and there wasn't much time for other entertainment, and it would be things like music or poetry or reading. I mean, there wouldn't be
Games, board
knitting and
games.
so forth. It wouldn't be as distracting and brainless, if you will,
Hmm.
as consuming media. So yeah, that's our modern world. Absolutely, we do that, and there's been a lot of research on that and discussion. In the meantime, yeah, I do enjoy a good zombie binge watch. So I must say. Okay, so Tina, one of these questions came up at the curb with our
At
zombies at
the
the curb.
curb. I
At the curb,
just
we
love
call it at
this.
the curb.
I love it.
Absolutely. So one of them was the question. The big question was, if you were in a zombie apocalypse, zombie attack, what top 5 things would you grab? So we're assuming you're in your home, um, or you're nearby a place where you could get these things. What would you? What are your top 5 things? What comes to mind first?
First thing is warmth. I'm terrified of ever being too cold. So it would be everything warm. My warmest socks, long underwear, ski pants, thickest jacket,
Now
mittens.
you've just chose 5 things, so there you go.
If those are my 5 items, then it's all about keeping warm. Oh,
How are you going to
wow.
survive then? They're coming at you. They're breaking into your house, and you're going to grab your coat, your
Yeah, I
sock.
don't want to be cold. Matches so I can start fires.
Okay.
Lighters, lighter
Okay.
fluid.
All right. So let's just
Dang, 5 items. Can we not just clump clothes into one
right. I would say
category?
let's give a given is your
Because that's
clothes.
stressful.
No, I'm thinking so a given is your clothes. So for me, it's going to be some hiking boots, a light jacket, jeans,
Oh,
roll up long sleeve, and of course I have my glasses, which will be helpful for
oh
starting the
shit.
fire too, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Good
All
God.
right. So those maybe a hat, those things are a given, but not like massive clothing. It's stuff that you're going to have to run with. If you want more,
No, it's
then
true.
you're going to have to get a backpack, which, by the way, I do want a backpack because as you scavenge and put things, you're going to need to carry stuff. So,
Absolutely.
okay. All right.
Well, that's a must. Here, write down a list for us both so we're prepared.
I got my
So
backpack.
put backpack on. Just split your paper in half and just put
Yeah, you
Tina's.
got it. Go.
Okay, because I do too. What a backpack. And I do have one. I bought it. I was going to do the Camino de Santiago. So I actually have a real backpacker's backpack.
Oh,
Now, so
I
David.
want a small backpack that you can move and still be agile with. You sound like a zombie. Okay, so what else would you take? So your clothes are a given. Okay, you're gonna grab your favorite jacket then, and you got your right shoes and stuff. All right, you got your backpack.
God, this is really hard.
Doesn't it come to mind your weapon of choice? Don't you need a weapon? Are you gonna defend yourself, or are you just gonna run?
It's so futile. This is why I think I hate zombies. It's so futile.
Uh,
It's so futile. If you take a gun, you've got to limit the amount of bullets. So I guess it would be a machete.
okay. Do you
But
have
then
one?
that's too close. Actually, Maria does. And I
Okay.
just found it cleaning out the garage.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have a machete.
Okay. So we're alike because I'm taking my saber,
Ah!
my champagne saber.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Although that wouldn't be ideal because it doesn't cut well. So a machete would be
Well,
better. I used to have a machete, but I don't anymore. But I would grab my saber.
here's a question. In the Walking Dead, it was like if they even scrape you at all, you get infected. So the thing with a machete that scares me is it's almost like we need an epi. We need a longer thing to put more distance because you don't want them swiping out at you and then you get scratched. It's all over. So I'm not sure a machete is long enough.
Well, so that's the thing. Are you going to be a gun? Would be,
Bullets. How can we carry around 500 million bullets? Because it's going to go on forever.
but Tina, a gun would be a no brainer. But like
Oh,
you say,
oh,
you would
oh
have
God.
to
Stop.
you would have to have too much ammunition. But here's what I'm saying. If you live near a place where you know you can go get ammunition, a gun might be a good choice. I don't live near one. So that's the other thing. So, but for me, I'm taking my saber. I think
Okay.
if I'm looking at, if ideally if you had a big hunter's knife. I don't have that stuff. I don't have my machete anymore. I don't have a hatchet anymore. At the curb, by the way, they said there was a discussion of hatchet and axe, and the axe would give you more distance, but
Y-
if they're coming at you, you're going to need more up close the agility of a hatchet. And the other benefit of the hatchet is you
You
can
can cut
start
down trees and have fires.
right, and you can potentially start a fire, using your hatchet.
Yes.
Yeah.
I-
So
I'm thinking
there's,
we might need to reconsider this machete
but see,
business,
I
the
don't have a
saber.
hatchet, so
Well, time to get one. Go
okay.
ahead.
Well, that's the other thing. It makes you go, "Oh, do I buy one?" I do have a baseball bat, which, like in The Walking Dead, Lucille, horrible Negan wraps his baseball bat with barbed wire and uses that to beat
Oh,
people and zombies. Um,
I
that's
think I'd feel more comfortable with that actually than the saber or the machete. I
okay.
feel more comfortable with that kind of a swing. I kind
Okay.
of like that better.
Okay. You like
Now,
that swing.
do you get infected if it splatters blood? Because I'm thinking
Okay,
Well, I
now you're
guess
gonna
you're gonna
go off. See, we could do a whole nother episode
yeah,
on
we
this.
could.
Which
This
is
is totally
discussion, like, and there's
yeah.
different zombies depending on what it is. So you
Well, that's what
don't
I was wondering.
you don't know. This is the first days of the outbreak. You
God.
don't know what's going to work and what's not going to work.
Shit.
But are you
Okay.
going to defend yourself or not?
I would say the next thing is for me would be just lighters, fire. We need fire.
Right? Would you take a flint? Do you have flint? I
Ooh,
don't have
that's a really
flint.
good idea.
But otherwise, I'd take lighters. And again, you assume that you're going to be able to find lighters because we live in
No, you're right.
places.
Flint is better.
Yeah.
We're looking at long-term things
Right.
because you can't say, pause, Mr. Zombie. I got to fill up my lighter with the butane. Just a minute.
Yeah,
No.
but no. We're in the first days. This is the assumption. So there are stores everywhere, and you can go in and grab the lighters. I mean,
Okay.
but long
Yeah,
term,
but
you're
then,
right. Flint makes sense.
and can you bring 50 pounds of lighters? Eventually it's going to run out. This apocalypse is going on forever, which is why I think I dislike zombies. There's no end.
My other one would be I want a
Yeah.
water container because
Oh, Jesus,
you
of
can't
course.
carry all the water you want, but you need
No.
something to put it in when you get it, and it could be used for other things as well. Ideally, it would be one that could go over fire that you could boil the water in or boil your soup in or whatever. Yeah.
God. I was just thinking back in my camping days that I used to have the water pump filter,
Yeah.
that
Well,
you'd stick it in a
yep.
stream so you could have water anywhere. But it's the same thing,
Do you
Sue.
have
Like,
one?
not anymore.
Right. See? Yeah.
Not anymore.
You'd have to go to a camping supply store, like you run to an REI or something and get the
And then when
things
it
you
goes
need.
out.
Yeah.
But you're right. Then we have to boil, which then leads me back to it's most important that we have flint because without a fire, we're screwed.
Right. Absolutely.
I
And
don't want
plus
to
you want
eat.
to keep warm. And you could use fire to
Yes.
fight the zombies as well.
That's true.
All right.
Oof.
And then here's the other thing that came up that was very interesting at our at the curb. It's
I'm already
kind of
getting stressed.
kind of hilarious. Do you feel it? All right. Is
All right.
we're all people of a certain age, so there was discussion about bringing our
Oh,
meds.
oh shit.
You
That's so
know.
true. Oh my God. Oh my
And then, of
God.
course, those would
Oh,
run
this is
out until you
terrible.
could go to a pharmacy and look for your meds. Then.
But so would everybody else, and then everybody else is
Right.
it's gonna be the toilet paper problem like we had in COVID.
Yeah.
That you're gonna get there and it's gone.
Yeah.
Your medication is gone because somebody had to take 50 pills, 50 bottles instead of leaving any for you.
Yeah. See, I would want an antibiotic. That's what I'm
God.
thinking is, and also,
100%. You're
yeah.
right.
I don't know, but that's all, like, kind of getting ahead of myself.
100%.
If you're in the first few days, you don't need an antibiotic, so I
No,
kind of
but
could
you
go back.
will.
Yeah. And then I have to tell you some other fun ones from the
Okay,
curb.
good.
These are my buddies at the curb, so you gotta. One gal said baling twine,
Okay.
and she was insistent over and over on
Okay.
on the baling twine. Okay, so
Okay,
baling
tell me.
twine apparently is like plastic and it's strong, and so you could you
Yeah,
could
for
use it.
what?
You
Tie
could
up your zombies?
well potentially, or your enemies. You could tie up anything. So like you could set traps. You could do some. You could
There is
set up.
that.
You could, like, when you define your boundary for zombies when you're camping, you could put cans on it, and so that as they
Oh,
approach, you can
true.
hear. You can
Yeah.
like your shoe leather runs out. You could tie up your shoes with it. Someone was saying no, but duct tape would be better. So duct tape was on people's list too.
Heavier though.
And you could also duct tape a zombie's mouth closed. I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty up close and personal.
Baling
I don't
twine.
know.
Well, if you watch The Walking
I think
Dead,
baling twine is that makes more sense. Duct tape, yes, but yeah,
you
no.
could fish with it. You could.
Yes.
Yeah, there's other
There's
things.
so many more
Yeah,
things.
and then we talked
Reuse
about
it.
a tarp, and you could even like throw your tarp over the baling twine and hang it up
Yes.
and make your tent.
Great
So
shelter.
a tarp would be great because I feel strongly about a tarp because
Yeah,
it
rain,
right,
everything.
and that's your heat comes back to your heat. So that's your shelter, if you will, and the baling twine could help with that. But I'm glad she's coming along in the same group. We've all decided we're in the same group, and our different resources can help each other out, even
That's
if we
so
don't.
true. Oh my
Even if we don't
God.
agree with,
This
like,
is so
baling twine
cool.
should be number one. She was totally serious about it.
I love her. Shout out to her.
To Lola.
Lola,
By the way,
genius.
a
I have to
teacher,
say I agree.
a
Of
retired teacher.
course. Of course.
Yes.
It would
Okay.
take a teacher to think, yeah.
Um, so, and then kind of to just wrap this up, there was another discussion. What?
Wrap it up. Sorry, we
With
were
the
just talking about duct
baling
tape, baling
twine.
twine.
There we go. So there was the discussion of the use of the baling twine for more uses. There was the discussion of the weapons, like, the guns. And I had a neighbor that said, I'd want a gun. I mean, there's no question, it's a gun. Um, I don't care if I can't get more ammunition as long as I have one bullet.
Oh, right. Right. I think I'd rather have pills for that. I'll break into the pharmacy and carry a bottle of pills.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, I
And the
don't want to use
baling
the
twine
gun
could work too. So,
because I could totally see myself missing. I want to have those special pills, like the spies use, where it just takes one under the tongue and that's it. I want the one pill.
yeah.
Yeah.
But see,
Ugh,
there are people that, I mean, that would be a normal
wow.
response to something like this too.
I think he's right.
Now, that was a she.
She,
And then the baling
yeah.
twine also came into play with that as well.
Yeah,
So,
no.
yeah.
No. I
No,
like the
but
little
the
dissolvable
options.
pill in a necklace that I'm wearing around. Oh, God.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm exhausted. That's why I think I don't watch it. It's because you know what it is too? It's truly for me, I'm in that movie. And it is happening to me as I'm watching this thing. And that is exactly what's happening with my brain. My brain is like, but I would do this, or I wouldn't have done that. Like I'm picking this thing apart, thinking about what I would do, and it's stressful. It's stressful. I don't know how you do it. I think I'd have to self-medicate just to go back there. I don't think I can do it.
Well, and I'm wondering if that is kind of like you were saying
Mm,
with it's a diversion from reality, and yet it
it isn't.
enlivens you. It makes you alive, makes you feel alive, and there's a
Ooh.
response. And that response is fear, and that response is like, what would I do, and how would I resolve this, and would I be able to stand up to the different types of authorities that come out of this, and
Oh,
would I
so true.
escape, and because like ultimately the
Oh, God. I
worst.
hadn't even thought about the authorities and
Right.
the leadership.
Well, and ultimately that's the biggest thing in a zombie apocalypse. Once you figured out how to deal with the zombies, it's not about the zombies unless they're the
It's a
fast ones.
leadership.
It's the people. It's the
Holy
people
crap,
that
it
are,
is.
yeah, it's the people you got to be afraid of and figure out how to,
So
yeah,
true. And
yeah.
who you can trust and who's not gonna throw you in front of that zombie to save themselves.
And that happens too in zombie films. But, that's the thing. This is why this metaphor really works because it's all of this. It's about the human psychology and all the stuff that we're dealing with in our real world. I mean, look at our zombie in chief. I mean, throwing people under the bus, It's
Fear.
and it's authoritarianism and it's survival and yeah. Your eyes. Thanks for listening. Now let's pack up this week's episode in the trunk.
Ride shotgun and be a part of our adventure by clicking on the plus sign to subscribe and follow our show. This will help our ratings and, more importantly, inspire us to keep creating fun and engaging content. We would love to hear from you in the comments sections or email us at retiredpodcastnewtread@gmail.com. Use the fast track lane by sharing episodes with friends, family, and anyone who would like to join us on a road trip through re-tirement.
Be sure to check the show notes for links and contact information. Retired is chauffeured by Sue Britz and Tina Lokkbakk. It is produced, directed, and edited by me, Sue Britz. Music and graphics are by me too. Buckle up and tune in next week so that you won't miss your chance to join our retired road trip.
Well, that was shockingly interesting and delightful.